Pistons are not picking first overall. They had the worst record in basketball for the second year in a row, and for the second year in a row, they will pick fifth. There's a lot of complaining, a lot of griping, and we can debate whether the system is a good system or not. I don't think it is a good system. But I can't shed a tear for the Pistons. I don't feel bad for the organization. They are a deeply unserious group of people. This is absolutely a fitting draw for them in the lottery. John, whether it's ownership telling us, hey, if you put aside winning, ... or promising change, still yet to see anything meaningful. Your general manager has gone on a Matt Millen-like run and is still employed because, well, it's not for him to decide. You need somebody else to come in here and state the obvious. He should be fired. You haven't done anything. You have not hired a president of basketball ops, despite saying you would. It's been a month since the season ended. Have you interviewed anybody? Not that we know of publicly. You're waiting for Milwaukee's guy. Got blocked. What about the guy who used to be out in Portland? He won't even take the interview. You're a deeply unserious group. So we could play the tiny violin for you, or we could, fake crocodile tears. I feel bad for the fans. I think the system is stupid. But the Pistons are absolutely a victim of their own circumstance, are they not? Like, the ultimate fix to the lottery woes is to not waste the time you won the lottery with Cade Cunningham to actually do something and build something. It's your own fault that you wallow and now beg for luck once a year.
Well, there's a whole situation going on of if you're in charge of this roster and you are now in terms of like the 6 or 7 worst seasons in franchise history, you have been at the helm. We'll give you a pass on the first couple of years because you are trying to restore something, as Troy Weaver said. But at some point, you got to take ownership of the roster, the fact that you did win the lottery one time. You did have what you would quote-unquote call your franchise player, but you've done nothing else to build around. The basketball gods have said, well, you don't deserve the number 1 pick because you're not going to do anything with it. We're going to give it to an organization that maybe they will, maybe they won't. Maybe there's nobody in this draft that is worthy of being the number 1 overall pick. Somebody will be for the Atlanta Hawks if they hold on to that pick. But you've done nothing to show that you deserve anything better than the worst we could possibly give you.
Yeah, and again, the talent in this draft is almost besides the point. I mean, this has happened 2 years in a row. Last year, there was a much better draft. It was Victor Wembanyama at number 1. This year, people think it's this French center, Sarr, not a great shooter, but one of these big projectable young bigs.
Yes, from Perth, Australia.
Oh, yes, but he played professionally in France, which is why.
Right. No, I know, but this is the thing, and this is part of the problem with the draft. This is the NBA issue, or it's, I don't know what the issue is you're drafting top players that may be the best talent in the world. We have no idea who they are.
Some of this is the decline of college basketball, the rise of international basketball. Yeah. I mean, one and done where guys don't develop as long. I mean, it's a number of factors. But yeah, I don't think the average person has a big opinion on who they would have taken at 3 or 4 or now 5. I mean, right. We'll talk it sparingly because it is the Pistons. At some point before the draft. This is only a topic today because the lottery was yesterday, and people were seeing the headlines and go, whoa, not again, not the Pistons falling again. You said sort of like basketball gods. Like I don't think this was like an act of the NBA sticking it to the Pistons. It wasn't like the clip we had in the news, the person running someone over. I don't think this is a league running that. Yeah, I don't think that's the league doing that to the Pistons, although
kind of feels like it.
Could you blame them?
Yeah.
To me, this was the most likely outcome. How could they have fallen to 5? Well, if you look at odds, this was the odds-on most likely landing spot for the Pistons. They had almost a 50-50 shot to pick 5th overall despite finishing with the league's worst record. That, to me, is not a long shot fluke. How could this have happened? This was the most likely outcome that the Pistons would pick 5th, only a 14% chance to pick 1st. So to me, I don't love the system because if we have a draft in the first place, the idea is to help bad teams. You should not have a system where the worst team is most likely to pick 5th. And the proposal that I would put forward to fix this, beyond just, get good, is I would have the lottery stay the same in terms of odds, Still a 14% chance for the teams that finish with the worst, second worst, and third worst records. Still kind of keep that the same, but only draw one time. You draw for the first pick. For everybody that wants to know why is this not televised, it's because they draw in reverse.
Mm-hmm.
Well, they don't draw in reverse. They draw first, but then
it's revealed in reverse, yes.
But if there's only one drawing, you could show it live because it's only one team that gets the ping pong ball. You could show it live, take some of the conspiracy out. And two, it would still curb tanking for the generational prospect. You'd only have a 14% chance, but it wouldn't be as punitive to the teams that are just honestly bad and need a redistribution of talent. You could only fall one spot. So if you're the worst team, you'd fall to 2. If you're the second worst team, you could fall as low as 3. To me, that's the balance. Now, you had a Jansen amendment to this.
Yeah, I would say instead of just the 1, because it is a lottery and there is risk involved and there's reward involved as well, not just making it the 1 pick, but go 2 picks. So the worst, if you have the worst record in the NBA, the worst you could end up was 3.
So 2 spots is the furthest.
Yeah, 2 spots. You
draw for 1 and 2.
Of those, and then the worst you could possibly be is 3. I think that moving forward, there's more parity, as Greg pointed out earlier in the show, there's more parity right now in the NBA than there's ever been. But there's also, I think, a bigger disparity from those teams, the top 15 to 20 teams who are vying for either the play-in tournament or an NBA championship, those teams versus those that are at the bottom. Now, the problem is we've seen other teams that the Detroit Pistons have been in competition with for drafts, for lottery wins.
Thunder, Cavs.
Yeah. All of a sudden, now you're looking at a team that is the number 1 overall seed in the West. And it was, 3 years ago that they were vying for the lottery win?
Yep.
So they've been able to dig their way out. Why haven't the Pistons? And you could say, well, it's they either picked poorly or they haven't built around Cade Cunningham. They haven't spent in free agency. Like, there's a number of different things. It's a little bit of everything, but the fact of the matter is it's been ineptly run.
Yeah, I mean, it's why I'm not, sounding the wambulance or trying to cry on the Pistons' behalf. Like, they had and still had tons of chances to better their situation over the years and didn't. It's just, hey, while we're talking lottery, I don't think any team that's that bad, should be picking 5th. That feels like you were trying to curb tanking and maybe swung too far the other way where it becomes punitive. And this has happened several years in a row now. With both of them happen to be the Pistons the last 2.